Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
I have an important question for you. What player in the WNBA do all of the teams, when they can, move to bigger arenas when they are playing that player? Man, I worded that extremely poorly, but you understand the point I'm trying to make, despite, again, hearing over and over again how she is not the face of the WNBA, how the WNBA is just growing astronomically because of all these wonderful, wonderful new superstars who are jacking up ratings in other leagues like Unrivaled. Check this out. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And of course, shout out to the 19. We have here teams move, fewer fever visits after Caitlin Clark's injury-riddled season. What does that mean? Well, it goes back to what I just said. They all want to move to bigger arenas when possible when they're playing the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. You are not seeing this for other players. And before you come at me in the comments, I believe, yeah, there have been one or two occasions where teams have moved from, 3,000 seat arenas to something a little larger, but not the way that they have always for Caitlin Clark. And the reason you are seeing this is because thanks to what the WNBA has allowed the jealous, petty, pathetic players of the WNBA to do to Caitlin Clark, which caused her to miss most of the season in 2025. Now, a lot of these teams are like, you know what? We can't take a chance moving the games that have Caitlin Clark because she may very well not be playing, and then people are not going to buy tickets, and we're going to have a huge arena that doesn't have anybody in the seats, kind of like the way the WNBA was its entire existence before Caitlin Clark showed up, which once again proves the point right here that Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. She is the reason everything positive that I say could because of the way the CBA is going, could happen to the WNBA if everyone else would just get the hell out of the way. Stop being petty. Stop being jealous. Stop being entitled. Stop being a bunch of whiny, childish narcissists and enjoy the ride. Look, here's the thing, because you get this from the wackos. Oh, they just want everyone to constantly say how amazing Caitlin Clark is and praise Caitlin Clark and get on their knees for. No. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do any of that. What we are just saying is stop doing all of the negative stuff. Stop trying to hurt her. Stop trying to diminish what she brings to the league. You don't have to talk about her in a positive way. Now, granted, if a reporter decides they're going to ask a question that is legitimately a question that brings in Caitlin Clark, don't be an ass. That's all you got to do. But no, you don't have to go out of your way unprompted to constantly praise Caitlin Clark. No one is asking for that. All right, there might be a couple of wackos asking for that, but no normal person, no normal Caitlin Clark is asking for that at all. If we can go back to the beginning of 2024, all Caitlin Clark fans wanted to do was continue to enjoy watching her play when she made the jump from Iowa to the WNBA and the rest of the league, including sports media, the WNBA itself, the owners, the players, everyone involved in the WNBA made it impossible for Caitlin Clark fans to simply enjoy watching her play. That's all they wanted. That is all they wanted. That's what the WNBA does not understand with all this racist BS and the Caitlin Clark clan and all this other disgusting nonsense and rhetoric and lies being spewed all of the time. They don't want any of that. They don't want to be involved in the politics. They have no interest in going after other players. They just wanted to enjoy watching Caitlin Clark, and y'all wouldn't let it happen. And so you get this, and you get videos like this, and you get people who are tired and fed up with all of the crap. And yes, they are rightfully pushing back on all your BS. And so now you got to deal with this crap because people don't want to go watch unless Caitlin Clark's there. Even to a degree, the Indiana Fever. Now, there was a ton of support for the Indiana Fever last season, and I get that. But this, people are like, well, wait a minute. After everything y'all have done, why do I want to go fill up a massive arena for the Atlanta Dream, who's got an owner that says, we not like her. We not like her. We nasty and awful, and they don't want us as fans. So why do we want to put money in her pocket? Now, we will, of course, indirectly by going to sellouts at Gamebridge and by buying Caitlin Clark merch and watching her on TV. But no, we don't want to buy expensive tickets for the Atlanta Dream to fill up a 17,000 seat arena instead of a 4,000 seat arena, when they then talk about how and act like it's all because of them and all because of the Atlanta Dream, when the sole reason is Caitlin Clark. Whew. I apologize. I got a little worked up, but this stuff's starting to get to me. Indiana had 9 road games moved to larger arenas last year, but just 4 so far for 2026. That is because, of course, Caitlin Clark and her injuries, and that caused a lot of problems. My guess is you will see more if Caitlin Clark is healthy and teams are able to do it a little bit more last minute, which is what we saw in 2024. You know, if the arena's available and so forth, I believe you will see more. WNBA teams are moving more games to different arenas this upcoming season, but Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have significantly fewer of those games. It'll be interesting to see what the other larger ones are. The WNBA's regular season schedule announced Wednesday included 19 games moved to different arenas, up from 15 last year. WNBA teams have moved games in recent years to accommodate more fans or appeal to those in different markets. Caitlin Clark games. The increase is largely due to the Toronto Tempo, one of the WNBA's expansion franchises, along with the Portland Fire. The Tempo are playing 5 home games outside of their usual home, the Coca-Cola Coliseum, including 2 games each in Montreal and Vancouver. That makes sense if you are trying to expand eventually the WNBA into Canada a little more. Maybe eventually, fingers crossed, everything goes right, you end up with an expansion team someday in Montreal. Maybe there's an expansion team someday out west in Vancouver. So you're kind of testing what that means. I mean, it's a imperfect test, because this is, a rare opportunity to see a pro team in your area when there isn't one, is a little different than necessarily than supporting one day in and day out. And that's not a shot at anybody. That's just the reality of it. Opponents have moved just 4 games to bigger arenas for visits from Clark and the Fever this season, down from 9 last year. Vegas, the Sky, Toronto, and Dallas. I'm sorry, I'm trying not. It's just glorious. July 5th at Aces and August 20th at Dallas, right? When we're talking about Asia Wilson and Paige Beckers, right? The faces they so desperately want to be the face of the WNBA. And then, of course, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky and an expansion team makes perfect sense. Now, Washington Mystics, Connecticut Sun, Atlanta Dream. I think if they can do it, Caitlin Clark's healthy, they will move those games as well. There's no doubt about that. And other teams, as I mentioned here, Liberty, Fire, Mercury, Valkyries, they all play in large arenas already. This thing, come on, like a half an hour after I go. Anyway. The decrease comes after Caitlin played in just 13 games, which, look, I totally get. So that's why I said we already know 2024, it was flexible. It's probably flexible now to a degree. So I don't think this is a big deal in terms of you're not going to see Caitlin play in bigger arenas in those areas. I think if they can do it more last minute and they're like, okay, you know what, it's 2 weeks out, she's healthy, let's go ahead and make the change. That gives us time to sell tickets and all of that, and it's arenas available, then I think 100% they'll do that. Fever remained the league's biggest attendance draw last year, averaging 15,884 for their road games, 4,000 more than any other team. By the way, that includes Golden State, right? Who was phenomenal. I believe they actually led in attendance at home over the Indiana Fever. And I love that Golden State embraced the team the way they did. But as you can see, the draw around the league, not necessarily the same. Indiana's road games moved to larger arenas were all sellouts. though the game sold out before the season and Clark's injury. Yeah, and that's the problem. We can't speak to what other teams may do in terms of venue changes, but teams could still change course. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they could change course before it happens and get those games into bigger arenas. The Dream would absolutely love to playing in their tiny arena. The Wings playing in their tiny arena. Already moved one. I'm not sure how many times Indiana plays in Dallas. And of course, the arena, it's all still up in the air. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out the video. As always, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You know the drill. I will talk to you later.